Should you hire a digital agency to do the marketing campaigns for your business, or should you run these marketing campaigns in-house? Regardless of whether you're running Google ads or meta-based ads or any other type of paid advertising, this is a question that every business owner will have to face. Now, I want to make one thing really clear at the start of this video is that this is not a takedown of digital agencies. So I'm not going to be rubbishing the role of digital agencies because, to be honest with you, there are a lot of great agencies out there that are doing great work for businesses. However, the opposite is also true, that for many businesses, they would get better results through doing their digital marketing by themselves as opposed to getting a digital agency. Whether you should hire a digital agency or run your own marketing campaigns comes down to a couple of core factors which we're going to discuss in this video today. Because unfortunately, like most decisions business owners need to make, it really comes down to what is right for you and your business. However, I do also want to point out that this landscape is changing really quickly, and there is now a really valid third option, which I think is suitable for most businesses. Now, before we get into those details, so you can really make the decision on what's going to be best for your business, there is one thing that really comes at the core of any successful marketing campaign for a business. And that is for success with any type of paid ads campaign, whether it be Google ads or whether it be on Meta. Whoever is running those campaigns needs two core areas of knowledge. So they obviously need to know how that platform works. So they need to have a skill and expertise in how Google ads works or how Meta ads works. But equally as important as that skill base is you also need to have some core understanding of how that business operates. So you need to know things like what are their drivers for profit, because sometimes the most expensive products or the highest profit value products are not the right products to market. And this could come down to reasons including like the traffic volume and how their pricing model works. Also, what has been becoming more and more important right now is that whoever's running your marketing campaign needs to really know your brand story, know your unique selling points to be able to really communicate them into a highly crowded market. So regardless of which route you go down, whether you partner with an external agency or you run the marketing yourselves, you do need to know those two core areas of knowledge. So you need to know how the ad platforms work and you need to understand your business. And this brings us to the first important point that you need to think about before you make this decision. And this really comes down to what stage is your business currently in. Now, if you are just launching your business or you're still spending under $10,000 a month in your total marketing campaigns, the overwhelming chances are that you would be better off running your marketing in-house. So either you or your staff are running those marketing campaigns. And let me tell you the reason for why that is true. Remember what I said before is that you need to have a real core understanding of your business, your products, your services, your brand story, your unique selling points. And if you were to move that out to a digital agency, just the way that agencies are structured, the pure economics of an agency is that your management fee is not going to be enough in order for them to give you their best quality talent who are really going to be able to spend the time in order to do that. Now, as I said, this is nothing against a digital agency, but it's just the pure mechanics of how an agency works. And if you think about it within your own business, just the reality of the way that the business and customer relationship works is obviously the customers who are those highest value customers, the economics of your business dictates that you need to give them the highest quality talent or the best quality service in order to keep them, because purely by monetary value, they are most important for your business. So if you are a smaller business and you've only got a management fee of $1,000 or even $1,500 going to that management company, you are not going to be getting the best of their talent. And then on top of that, the hours that they allotted to managing your campaign or managing your account is not going to be enough to really dive into that wide range of knowledge that they need in order to get the best results for your business. So that's why I'm saying that when you're underneath that $10,000 barrier, it's highly likely that you're going to get much better results by running the campaigns yourself. Now, the one thing that I would add there, that if you don't have a high level of technical skill, I definitely do recommend that you get some one-off services. So the proper setup of your website, the proper setup of your conversion tracking, and you may even want to set up the accounts yourself and then go for a one-off review. That is a good way of being able to set up an initial account. And then from there, you can turn to different education sources like the video you're watching right here on YouTube, look to invest in some courses, or even look to invest in some paid communities so that you can keep up to date and get some advice on what are the best ways to optimize and set up your Google ads or your paid ad campaigns. And what you're really wanting to do here is you're wanting to leverage off of your business knowledge because no one else understands and knows your business like you. And then you just need to bring up your skill set a little bit for the paid channels so that you can start to see some initial results. And for me, this was the core reason for why I actually started Define Digital Academy. For 5 years, I was consulting to 3 large digital agencies, acting as their head of digital and head of search. And one of the main reasons I wanted to start Define Digital Academy is because I saw a need for business owners who are spending underneath that $10,000 threshold to be able to give them some extra support, because really I knew that they could get better results just with a little bit of guidance by running their campaigns by themselves. And if you want to know how Define Digital Academy can help you and your business grow and scale, why don't you follow the link in the description below, and you'll see a link called How Can We Help You? And this takes you through a really short questionnaire. It takes no more than 60 seconds to complete, and we can give you all information about how we can help you. And this goes for people who are starting right from day one, starting your very first Google Ads campaign, right up to businesses who are already spending over 6 figures a month. So let's keep going with the video. But remember, if you would like some extra help from the team at Define Digital Academy, please just go through to the description so that you can fill out that How We Can Help You form. All right, so to answer that question of whether you should hire a digital agency, we know that the first thing you need to consider is where your business is at the moment. So if you're just launching or if you're spending under $10,000, it's highly likely, as we said, it's better to go through and do the marketing yourself. However, if you're beyond that point and you are spending more than $10,000 a month in your ad spend, that's where you really need to start looking at the makeup of your team and the skill sets that you already have in place within your current employment. I'm going to give some really general rules here. As I said, it may be different to the individual business that you have, but let's just say that you are a professional service-based business. So this could be trades or any business that doesn't have a physical office. In this situation, it may be better to partner with a digital agency, and that's just purely because you don't really have anyone who's spending a lot of time in front of a computer. They're on a job site or they're out and about all day, and they don't really have any set aside time to be able to regularly and routinely go through your Google Ads or your meta-based campaigns. And if that is your situation, it's highly likely that you're better to partner with a digital agency or a freelancer in order to outsource the management of your paid ads campaigns. However, if you're an e-commerce brand, a SaaS company, or you're a business that does have a physical office and you've got full-time staff like admin staff or receptionist staff or even other sales-based staff, it's highly likely that within your current pool of employees, there are people there that could, with some extra training, take on the management of your own paid ads campaigns. So a perfect example for an e-commerce brand, let's just say you already have some creative staff who are already creating content for your social media. You could also expand their knowledge so they can start into the paid services. And we've even seen really good examples for SaaS companies and professional companies where they've trained their IT staff or even some of their admin staff in order to take on the management of paid campaigns. But in these situations, obviously it's really important that you do have some level of relationship either with a digital agency that are doing strategic reviews or doing some initial setups, or you're upskilling that staff with paid courses or paid communities in order to upskill their current knowledge so that they can really look to make sure that they're not flying completely blind, that they're staying up to date with what is working inside of those paid ads campaigns. And this really opens up to that third option, which is what I'm calling a bit of a hybrid option. So rather than just going with a done for you management method where you outsource your Google Ads or your Facebook ads completely to a digital agency, there's this new model which is really a done with you model. And that's really about where, yes, you are taking the lead, but you're engaging with a strategic partner which can really look at your account structures, set up some automations, because it's really important to note that a lot of the work that you're paying a digital agency for, 5-6 years ago, can actually be recreated with really good AI systems, different scripts that are running. And these are things like your keyword optimization, your ad copy tests, or your bidding strategies, just to name a few. And what we're really seeing is that the most successful businesses who are scaling with platforms like Google Ads are really going down this model where they're really looking to automate what they can automate, run in-house what they can run, and then really reach out to some strategic partners to really help them with the higher tier levels of how to see success with platforms like Google Ads. So as a wrap up, in order to really answer this question for should you hire a digital agency for your own business, these are the 3 things you need to consider. And before you ask any digital agency, you need to ask these questions. And the first thing is that do they understand your business well enough in order to make a real impact with paid ads. The second question I would be asking is, can you or someone in your team who is already employed run these paid ads with maybe some initial setup and guidance? But once that setup is initially complete, can someone who you're already paying and already employing run those ads with some guidance? And then the third question would be, would you get better results for your business if you ran these yourself or if you've got an agency in place to run the marketing for you? Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, as the business owner, what you're looking for is you're looking for the best results for your business. So thank you for joining me. I hope that's given you some extra information to really go through and ask the right questions so that you can really work out as to whether an agency is the best model or whether running it in-house is the best model for you and your business. And as a reminder, if you did want to see about some potential ways that we could help you here at Define Digital Academy, just follow that link in the description below and fill out that how can we help you questionnaire. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy. And if you want to learn more about what is happening in Google Ads right now, why don't you go through to my interview series so you can watch the latest interviews with Google Ads and paid specialist experts. See you next time.